Um, we've got some stuff planned tonight. We are going to talk about making Russia great again. It's going to be kind of the main topic for tonight. Also, I want to catch you up on some things. See what you guys think about some ideas that we've got in store. Um, oh man, it's just I'm feeling good. I'll tell you all about it once we get started with the show. But man, I'm feeling good, really, really good. Um, I'm sorry if you can hear the show going on in the background. I'm just waiting for her to wrap up so I don't step all over her toes. Um, but yeah, man, I am like super pumped. I am. I've Wow, I don't know what she has going on. I have no idea what just happened. Anyway, I'm monitoring that in the background before we get started. Here in about a minute or so, I've got hopefully all of my stuff up on the screen so we can keep things under the wrap. I've got both chats up tonight. I'm gonna try and pay attention to things. What else? Checking the time, and it is. I think it's time. I'm looking at the clock, and it says it's time. Okay. She's giving me the green light. So we're going to get things going. Sit tight. Hopefully you enjoy tonight's show. Hopefully you're entertained and educated. That's the goal each and every time. Let's do this. Bear with me. This is the part of things that I hate doing. You guys know that. Bear with the silence. I can't play the Jeopardy thing. YouTube doesn't even like my intro.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
You know what time it is, so sit back and get ready for the Stafford Voice, your dose of conservative in a world of liberal.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, how are you doing tonight? Oh boy, oh boy. Hey, listen, I'm your host, Daniel Stafford, and you're listening to the Stafford Voice, where we are conservative in a world of liberal. Should I sing? Oh boy. Slick, if you want to sing, by all means, do it. As a matter of fact, here coming up in 2 weeks, I need to have you on. You need to join me. As a matter of fact, I need to bring on a couple of you guys. We need to figure out a way to do a round table, have some of you guys on the show so we can discuss some things. Slick, you definitely should sing 2 weeks from tonight. That show is already planning to be huge. Let me just say that. It's going to be huge. Okay? That's your teaser. That's all I can say, other than the fact that the show's going to get taken over. Listen, I'm not going anywhere, but for one night, the show is going to get taken over in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tonight. I'm down with that. Got to get a webcam. Slick, you don't have to. I can just put a standard image up there just to show everybody that you're on the call with us. It'll work. It worked with Jason. It's totally up to you. But if you want to do the webcam thing, and I can definitely pull you on through Skype that way. Okay, where were we? Man, okay. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. I'm having a fantastic day, and I hope you are too. But I am your host, Daniel Stafford, and yes, you are listening to the Stafford Voice, where we are conservative in a world of liberal. Tonight, a little later on, we're going to talk about making Russia great again. Seriously, are these my notes?
Yes, they are.
Those are mine. Okay, fine. We're going to make Russia great again. Whatever. There's a big question mark at the end of that. It's no worries, you're coming out, Lima Charlie. Roger that. Thank you, Army John. As we get started, I want to remind you that there are many, many ways to listen. So set this channel as a favorite, whether it's on YouTube, Spreaker. We're trying to get over onto iHeart because some of you guys are saying you want to be on iHeart. You want to hear it on iHeart. I'm seeing Tina over in the chat. She's saying he's going to sing. Yes, I hope he sings. Okay, so you guys, some of you guys have said that you want to hear the show on iHeartRadio. We can't do that without your guys' help. I don't know quite how you guys can help with that, whether it's just subscribing in multiple different areas or whichever one is where you're at, or whether it's, giving a shout out to iHeart, the iHeart Media guys, and saying you want to hear the show on iHeart. It's one of our goals. We're trying to wrap that up. That's one of our last goals on the checklist for this year. And again, we can't do it without your guys' help. So yeah, wherever you're at, set it as a favorite so you don't get left behind. That's the last thing I want to do, is have to pull you along. But if for some strange, crazy reason you do miss the show, you will be able to catch the replay, so just sit tight. There is no need to panic because, hey, I've got you. In case you aren't already following on social media, you can find me over on the Twitters at Stafford Voice, or whatever your social media thing, whatever your preference is, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchats, what's the other one? Gab? I just finally got an email earlier saying that we were accepted onto Gab. So if you're over on Gab, look me up. Hopefully by the time this gets wrapped up, you will I will be over there. So where exactly is iHeart corporate offices? We could go there and convince them. Yes, Slick, we should convince them. But, so listen, you guys know this. Wherever you're at, just search for the Stafford Voice. We'll be there. If I'm signed up on the waiting list, that's, for Gab, that is. I only waited a couple of days. Hopefully you haven't waited that long, Army John. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. I went on to Twitter yesterday and I followed the guys over at Gab Support. I think that's what it is. So yeah, you'll need to hit them up, and they'll double check and make sure that you're gonna be you'll be able to jump in over there. Look, if you want to stay slightly anonymous and you don't want to, you're not the vocal type, but you still want to speak your mind. Aside from the fact I personally answer every shout out, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, wherever. I personally answer those, and if you need more time to if you need more than 140 characters or whatever that limit is, and you feel you want to email me, by all means, please do so. All you got to do is email me, thestaffordvoice@gmail.com. and you'll be able to do that. Sorry, I realized that I completely... I caught it, though. So, one of my guys, that's kind of on my support staff, one of the guys on my accountability group noticed that for the last couple of weeks I forgot to update the date right here. So there for a while it was showing the same date as the previous few weeks, and I just realized that I've totally screwed that one for the start of this show. Anyway, we fixed it to, yes, it is the 17th of October. Okay. Before we get to the bottom line, let me catch you up. All week last week after the show, Tuesday morning after the show, my wife and I both woke up with a bit of some stuffiness in our sinuses. I absolutely hate dealing with sinus issues. I always feel like I'm talking out of my nose. I always feel like I'm talking out of my nose when I get stuffy. I hate it. But I also hate feeling sick. So, and compound that with my wife feeling the same thing and feeling like we're both just rapidly going downhill. We did not get out a vlog over the weekend. So, I want to catch you up on some things. What did we do? I had a salad for dinner. We did... Listen. Okay. What?
That was so random.
It was kind of random, but listen, Saturday really did kind of stink. The sinus issues, change your socks, doc's advice. Listen, I take really good care of my feet. I really do. Right now, no, Slick, I'm with you. I'm not wearing socks right now, but I take really good care of my feet. Obviously, I learned that in the military. I learned that with the scouts. Whenever we would go out camping and hiking and stuff, you always, number one, you've got to take care of your feet. But our Saturday really didn't get started until dinner time. That is, we didn't go out on an adventure, and quite frankly, it sucked. We really did. We wanted to go out and do something, but we made the best of it. We went out and we had salads for dinner. Yeah, I know. Woo! It's okay. It's okay if you didn't want to cook. No, to be quite honest, most of the time I don't want to cook.
You don't cook.
A magic fairy that does it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Laundry and all that stuff. Yes, we covered that on a vlog. But, okay, so we had salads for dinner because neither one of us wanted to cook. And so you guys know that after date night on Tuesday nights, we come home and we do a couples study. For the past few weeks and the weeks coming up, we've been studying about the life of Christ. So far it's been really, really good. I'm enjoying this little couples study, but we're almost done with it. So we needed something to supplement afterwards. So we ran to our local Christian bookstore. We picked up a couple of things. I don't even remember. One of them was about, we're going to dive super deep into the book of Daniel. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to share with you guys, once we really dive into that one, I'm going to share with you some of the things that that stick out to us and that I think you guys will really enjoy. So I don't remember what the other one was. It probably about joy and enduring well and finding joy in everything, whether it's your trials. And okay, so a lot of these things are starting to run into each other. But that's okay. I'm remembering some of them, and I even took notes. Okay, I didn't really take notes at Sunday's church lesson. I drew a picture about enduring well, because that was the topic, and it's been on my mind anyway. So, not to say I didn't neglect anything on my part, but so after that, we went to the Halloween store. I wanted to look around to see if I was missing out on anything, because, after all, it's this time where we find out where all of the closed up Radio Shacks were. So thanks to all of the Halloween stores that pop up this time of year, I didn't find anything, so we went over to a party store, Party City. I found exactly what I was looking for, but super top secret mission is not complete. Yes, cordite does in fact equal joy. Army John and Slick, I have to agree, cordite is fantastic. Cordite is an incredible thing. Okay, staying on topic. Where was I? Oh, Party City, USA, top secret, uber top secret mission is not completely finalized. But I will say this. 2 weeks from now, the show is going to be taken over. We are allowing somebody to hijack our show just for one night. It's, without completely spilling the beans, it's going to be huge. Okay, so that's all the teaser I can give you right now. That in 2 weeks from tonight, our show is going to be taken over for one night and one night only. It's going to be huge. We are going to have probably the biggest guest that I can think of, and I am allowing them to completely take over the show. With that said, we came home. I proceeded to open a box of Hostess cupcakes, and I ate almost the whole box. There's one left. There was 8 in the box. My wife had 1. I had 6, and so that leaves 1 left. It's okay. The diet is still on. I'm doing great. I've lost 12 to 15, somewhere in the range of 12 to 15 pounds. I would need to weigh myself to see where I'm at now. But as of Sunday morning, I think it was somewhere in the middle of 12 to 15 pounds. So we're still on track. Things are slimming down where they're supposed to, and I'm hitting the gym hardcore. I'm running on the treadmill. I hate running, but I'm finding it to be a great release of some pent-up things. Jason playing with det cord. Woohoo! That would be fun. That would actually be a blast to see Jason have some fun. Jason from According to Me show, that is. Speaking of which, we've really got to hammer that guy and get him back behind a microphone, talking about some issues going on, and the natural grip, hand grip, no thumbs. I'm not really tracking with that one, Ann. So if you can explain over on the YouTube chat, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. We got to get this show going. Okay, one last thing. As you guys know, I was heavy into working out and into powerlifting. About, 8 to 10 years ago, I competed at some state level competitions. I did okay. I held a couple of state update records for a while. And then I kind of got away from the powerlifting, still stayed in the gym, but got away from it. But I'm feeling it again. I went down to the gym earlier, about 2 hours before show, and I went through a squat session. I worked up to some weights that I thought were a little out of reach, and wow, they felt incredible. I took one of them for a double. I probably will regret that in the morning, but that's quite okay. It really is. Can I help with that? I don't know quite what you're wanting to help with, Anne. Army John, I really want to go to one of those Ranger competitions. I actually I wanted to run through the course and see if I could compete, but I know I can't compete on the level with those guys. Those guys are phenomenal soldiers and phenomenal athletes. I'm nowhere near that level. So let's get into the show, shall we? And we're going to start things with the bottom line. And the bottom line is this. I'm going to begin by quoting George Washington when he was addressing the officers of the Army on March 15th, 1783. He said, quote, "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." Look, that's as true then as it is today. You see, we live in a world where if you don't agree with those who feel they are entitled to power, then you're silenced. If you're on the wrong side of Trump, then you're the bad guy. When he's not doing well in the polls are, well, they suck and the system is rigged. When he's on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and they talk favorably of him, it's the greatest show on earth. If not, then the show's got to be canceled. It's the worst thing ever to hit the airwaves. In other words, sit down and shut up. Let's counter that with Hillary. She tried to hide everything, and once she started being exposed by the likes of WikiLeaks and Project Veritas's James O'Keefe just recently with some of his videos that he's been putting out, the State Department and all of her cronies went into overdrive trying to shut Assange down. And Twitter, as a matter of fact, silenced O'Keefe for, what was it, about 12 hours. They wanted to shut him down. Well, let's not forget that for one second that the safeguards of our founding fathers were put in place, and that's the First Amendment. And it grants us the freedom of speech, and the second protects that right. And the only way to have complete control is to negate the second and then silence those in opposition to your view. We are seeing this right before our eyes, the silencing of those in opposition. Let's not forget what Dietrich Bonhoeffer warned, saying, quote, "Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak, not to act is to act." We all have a duty and moral obligation to speak up and to act. If you want to remain silent and seated, then by all means, be led as a sheep to the slaughter. And that, my friends, is the bottom line. Okay. Time is saying we need to take a break. It's going to be short and sweet, but we've got to do it. We've got to give a shout out to the station and as well as one of our closest show supporters. So when we come back, we're going to talk about, I guess, based off of some of what's been laid out in front of me on the show notes, is that we're going to make Russia great again. I'm not completely tracking, but apparently we're going to talk about making Russia great again when we come back. I am your host, Daniel Stafford. You are listening to the Stafford Voice, where we are conservative in a world of liberal. We'll be right back.
To KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Nothing will protect you quite like your sidearm, so why not give it the protection it deserves? Something as strong as the Second Amendment and stands the test of time, and better yet, made in the USA. A Rebel Road Tactical Custom Kydex holster is that and more. Call now and place your order with Rebel Road Tactical at 682-217-4579. Again, 682-217-4579, or online at rebelroadtactical.com.
Conservative in a world of liberal.
The Stafford Voice.
We are back. Sorry, there's so many different moving parts. I still have yet to put something together to show you guys what I'm doing on the back end. But it's okay, because despite this beautiful disaster we call live streaming and the show, for some reason it's all working, so we're not going to mess with things. But I want to pick up where we left off last week. We really didn't get a chance to get too far into this, and that's quite okay, because this is something that we've really got to take a much deeper look at. So picking up where we left off last week, let me remind you that Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev issued a warning saying, quote, "I think the world has reached a dangerous point." This was him telling the state news agency, the RIA Novosti. He continued, quote, "I don't want to give any concrete prescriptions, but I do want to say that this needs to stop. We need to renew dialogue. Stopping it was the biggest mistake. It's necessary to return to the main priorities. These are nuclear disarmament, the fight against terrorism," and then he completely goes off script, bat crap crazy, saying the prevention of an environmental disaster. I don't completely agree with him on that one, but maybe it's something that tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists like to talk about. However, okay, I get what he's saying. He's talking about, okay. Still completely batcrap crazy, because I think he's one of those global warming alarmists. Not the Alex Jones type. Alex Jones takes that stuff to he takes things to a whole different level. Because anyway, compared to these let me finish up with what Gorbachev said. Compared to these challenges, all the rest slips into the background. Well, with that, it really does make you wonder what's happening deep inside Russia. You can call it a conspiracy, but check this. This is from apparently the cat doesn't want to talk about making Russia great again. But let's call it a conspiracy, whatever you want. But over at Zero Hedge highlighted this. They said they were reporting that a Russian website, Znak, published Tuesday that according to which Russian state officials and government workers were told to bring back their children studying abroad immediately, even if it means cutting their education short and not waiting until the end of the school year, and re-enroll them in Russian schools with some concern. And the article added that if the parents of those same officials also live abroad for some reason and have not lost their Russian citizenship, should also be returned to the motherland. All of this is coming from Putin, okay? Putin is giving these quote-unquote recommendations. He says the recommendation basically applies to all, from the administration staff, regional administrators, lawmakers of all levels. Employees of public corporations are also subject to the ordinance. And then Zero Hedge also reports that here, this is what I want to touch on right here. They were reporting that political analyst Stanislav Belkovsky, quoted by Znak, believes that such decisions should be approached with more pragmatism. Such a recommendation is more likely to lead to an outflow of officials from the state rather than allow the return of the children studying at elite foreign universities. He also warned of attempts to recreate an echo chamber such as that experienced by the failed July coup attempt on Turkey's President Erdogan. But what he said next was more disturbing. Quote, "On the one hand, this is all part of a package of measures," let me highlight the word measures, "to prepare the elites for some big war, even if it is rather conditional. On the other hand, this is another blow to the unity of President Putin with his own elite." Sorry, I'm trying to skim over the chats. I've got two of them going. I'm seeing what's being said. Global warming is not the biggest threat to our country. No, I completely agree. Come on, what about Russia shooting off tests of ICBMs? We're going to touch on that here shortly, so bear with me. Deep inside, Russian sounds like a Roger Corman adult film. Wow. Yeah, that does sound bad. I didn't realize I said that. Anyway, Cold War Cat. It was one of the gunshots that gave me a headache. Oh. Sorry about that. Daniel, sounds like we need to send Clint Eastwood to sneak over to Russia and steal their Firefox stealth fighter. With Putin recommendations equals orders. Yes, completely agree. So, does this highlight tensions between Russia and the West? Yes. Could there be a collapse with the global economy? And could that be why Putin is asking for all of these high-level state officials to get their families back home? Maybe. Who knows? Whatever it is, this warning from Putin should be carefully monitored. They're conducting active measures, and if you don't know what active measures are, you need to look it up. Basically, active measures is the term that the old school KGB used in order to describe their spread of propaganda, and it's a little more multi-level than just spreading propaganda. Nonetheless, they're conducting these active measures, and that's why I wanted to highlight where what was his name? Belkovsky was saying that this is all part of a package of quote unquote of measures to prepare the elites. That this is at an increased scale like we haven't seen since before the Cold War. Okay? They're advertising exactly what to look for. So here's three things, okay? 3 things to look for. They are talking about and moving nuclear weapons, and that everybody should know where their local fallout shelter is. They are warning their citizens to know where their closest fallout shelters are. If your government, if the United States government, Putin is old school KGB, is just dusting off the playbook and adding a few twists. Anne, I see you over in the chat in the YouTube side. You are like reading my mind on this, and I'm going to touch on that here shortly. But if a government is actively telling its citizens to know where their local bomb shelters are, that's maybe a clue you want to pay attention to what's happening. On top of that, they are holding large-scale civil defense drills. They are even teaching the children, okay? Teaching children how to put on their gas masks. Can you imagine your child coming home from school, and you sit them down at the kitchen. So they're in the back seat of your big SUV, and you're trying to. You're not talking because you got to text them because that's the only way you can get in contact with them. You text them, "How was school?" They reply, "Learned how to put my gas mask on." I'm completely blown away by some of this. And they're actively bragging about these things. They're doing it in front of people's faces, and everybody is basically just turning a cheek and saying, "Oh, but we've got to talk about Trump, and we've got to talk about who he may or may not have groped on an airplane. We've got to talk about Clinton." And yeah, well, we really do need to talk about Clinton. That's a whole different bag. On top of that, both on land and out at sea, via their subs, they are conducting tests on their ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Let me put it this way. If you remember, over the last 5 to 8 years, somebody, aka Russia, popped up on the West Coast and basically said, "Peekaboo, I see you," with one of their subs. Don't be alarmed because our government has our backs. But it has been quite a while since they've carried out a lot of these things. Is this something that we need to fear? Well, maybe or maybe not. But don't worry, because Vladimir Putin, has put out a calendar. And one of the months, they happen to highlight him holding this beautiful little kitty cat. Oh, anyway, and don't forget all about those Russian weapons that are just balloons. Yes, that's right. That one came out over the weekend. Oh, that was China. The Russians came into the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so yeah. Thanks for clarification on that, Slick. That was China. You're right. And the Russians were coming up the middle. Kind of like B.J. Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky. Oh, ouch. Yeah, he went there. Anyway, so yes, there was a report that came out over the weekend that Russia, some of their tactics are, and a lot of it's just smoke and mirrors with this, that they have, because the U.S. did the same thing back in, I believe, World War II. Maybe it was towards the end of World War I, but I believe they did it in World War II, where they had these big old, huge blow-up balloons, and not those kind of balloon dolls, but they had these big, huge balloons. They'd air them up, and they could practice battlefield maneuvers. Russia has taken it to a whole new level. China launched off both of our coasts. Yes. Okay, here's where Clinton plays a role in the story. She gave control of 20% of the U.S. uranium to Russia. Yes, that's true, and we can't forget that she actually made a boatload of money off of that deal. Yeah, we can't forget that. But Russia is playing games with us. But too many people are blind to what Putin is doing. He is old school KGB. He grew up with the KGB. He trained in the KGB. He wants to take things back to how they were pre-1980. He in reality, in lack of better terms, he wants to make Russia great again. And he's doing it with a little bit of help from Hillary because, she had that whole Staples button. That was easy. The reset button. Yes, ultimately that falls on Obama, but that falls on her. Did Obama sign up the sailors on the Russian subs as Democrats and give them welfare? Oh, wow. Army John, that's maybe a good question, but I have to agree with the next person in the chat, Jess, who was on prior to me. She did a great show. If you don't follow her, make sure you do. She covers a lot of military stuff. She is a wealth of information when it comes to what's happening currently with military ops and stuff like that. He wanted to make them citizens overnight. Yeah, ouch. Okay, so leave it up to Vladimir Putin. He is trying to make Russia great again. And that's all I got to say about that. Okay. We need to take one final break. And when we come back, I was really hoping to talk about that one. You know what? Hang around till after the show, and I'll tell you about this one because it's too good not to share. It really this was really, really interesting. You guys know that I like talking about what's happening in outer space, and I like talking about history. This falls into the history side of things. But when we come back, we're going to cover our profiles in history. This guy was absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. I just could not quit talking about this guy all day. Without further ado, let's just hurry up and go to break so we can come back, because I want to talk about this guy. So, yeah, we'll be right back.
Spark Radio Network. Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Conservative in a world of liberal.
The Stafford Voice.
Almost forgot to hit the microphone button. Okay, but I didn't, and now that's a good one. Russia and China are playing chess with POTUS while POTUS is playing Go Fish. That's funny. Maybe Obama plays Simon Putin Says. Oh, that's rich. Okay, so where were we? Okay, profiles in history. His temper would get the best of him in dealing with his rival, and it would be a fatal mistake. Button Gwinnett was born 1735 in Down Hatherley, Gloucestershire, England. He was born a minister's son, but became a merchant while working in Bristol and Wolverhampton. At the age 22, in 1737, he married Anne Bourne, a common girl. A few years would pass, and in 1762, they would leave Wolverhampton for the American colonies. They eventually settled in Georgia. Now, once in Georgia, they would open a store which would eventually fail. They did just enough to set a little aside so that, with a great deal of credit, they would be able to buy St. Catherine's Island near Sunbury, Georgia. The attempt was made to set it up as a plantation, but like their earlier endeavors, it would lead to failure. And it put them in deep, deep debt and was among the beginning of a series of lifelong financial troubles. Button, however, did manage to make a name for himself in local political circles and would be elected to Georgia's colonial assembly. He served there from 1769 to 1771. While serving in the assembly, the rivalry between Gwinnett and Lachlan McIntosh began. It would become rather embattled when McIntosh was appointed as Brigadier General of the Georgia Continentals in 1776, while Button was on absence from politics working on failing business concerns. In May of 1776, Button Gwinnett was selected as a delegate to the Continental Congress. While there, he would not only vote in favor for the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, he would also sign it on August 2nd with most of the other delegates. Now, you might be led to think that because his signature is at the top of the left side of signatures, he was one of the first to sign it. Instead, he was actually one of the last to sign it that day. Now, in February of 1777, Gwinnett would be back in Georgia with a rough first draft of Georgia's Constitution that he and John Adams both worked on. When Archibald Bullock, then governor, died, Gwinnett was appointed to finish the few months left in Bullock's term. For Button, this meant he was Georgia's commander-in-chief over his longtime rival, Lachlan McIntosh. Once in this position of power, Gwinnett began purging the government and military of his political rivals. One of the first targets was George McIntosh, Lachlan's brother. He was arrested and charged with treason against the Revolution. He would then throw Lachlan under the bus by ordering him to lead a poorly planned military expedition into the British-controlled Florida. It was a disaster. Both blamed each other. This resulted in him failing to win election to the post he had filled for only 2 to 3 months. On May 1st, 1777, Lachlan McIntosh, a staunch supporter of Gwinnett's opposition, addressed the Georgia Assembly to denounce Button in probably some of the harshest of terms, claiming him a, quote, scoundrel and lying rascal. Gwinnett wrote McIntosh demanding an apology, of which McIntosh refused, and Gwinnett's temper got the best of him. Get this, challenging Lachlan to a duel. On May 16, 1777, in Thunderbolt, Georgia, they squared off against each other. One witness, George Wells, said they were only about 12 paces apart, which then was, it equals about 10 feet. As Wells testified, quote, both pistols went off nearly at the same time when Mr. Gwinnett fell, being shot above the knee, and said his thigh was broke. McIntosh had also been hit in the thigh, though not as badly. It's said that McIntosh asked Gwinnett if he had had enough or if he wanted another shot. Both agreed one shot was enough, and they shook hands. McIntosh would later recover from his wound. However, 3 days later, on May 19th, 1777, Button Gwinnett died from his. Friends and allies of Button had Lachlan charged with murder, but he was acquitted at trial. George Washington, fearing those allies, would take revenge. Fearing those allies would take revenge, he ordered McIntosh to report to the Continental Army headquarters, where he spent the winter of 77 to 1778 with the Continental Army at Valley Forge in Pennsylvania, where he commanded several of the regiments of North Carolina troops. Now, many signers were content, knowing how great their accomplishment of signing the Declaration of Independence was, but the value Gwinnett placed on his honor played into his early demise. Ironically, years later, it's one of the main reasons he is remembered. if not for the duel, Button would have likely continued in politics and public life. Instead, because of such an early death, he signed so few letters and documents, creating his signature to be a highly sought-after one by many collectors trying for a complete set of autographs by all 56 signers. He's known to have only signed some 51 documents, most of which were IOUs, with only 10 in private hands, while the other 41 are in libraries and museums. The most recent was reportedly sold in New York for $722,000. Again, one of the most sought-after signatures from the signers of the Declaration of Independence is Button Gwinnett. And that is this week's Profiles in History. An absolutely fascinating guy. Fascinating to have looked into. I think we need and learn more about, and to see that, you know, our tempers can sometimes get the best of us, and in Gwinnett's story, it obviously led to an early demise. Let's see. Well, I missed something in the chat. Let's see. Cool Town, Wolverhampton. I think Lachlan McIntosh's great-grandson was named Apple. Oh. That's what I scrolled back for, Army John. Fact not verified. Army John, reprimands coming to you, my friend. And at Protopotamus on Twitter, awesome dude. If you haven't subscribed to him over on the YouTubes, you need to. That guy keeps me in stitches when I get to watch him play video games. Brings back my childhood, and the guy keeps me in stitches most of the time. He says that explains literally everything. Oh my gosh, I can't believe. Oh, Slick, I am not repeating what you said about his sister Peaches McIntosh. I'm not doing that. And didn't she star in Deep Inside Russia? Wow, okay. Wow, you guys took me there. Okay, I'm done with that. How much time do we have? We have just enough time for this. Let me... It is that time. It is time for Who Said That. Let me see if I can get this to work. Hopefully that's not... But that sound is the signal that it's time for Who Said That. And if you're a stranger to Who Said That, it's the last and final segment that we use to wrap the show up. Doesn't matter if you are a Republican, a Democrat, a conservative, a libertarian, or just an in-your-face liberal. If you say something completely bat-crap crazy, well, we're probably just going to poke fun at you and just leave it at that. This week, I can't even believe we're bringing it up, but I think we have to. So, without further ado, here you go. Check it.
There's never been anything like this in the United States, and the only way they figure they can slow it down is to come up with people that are willing to say, oh, I was with Donald Trump in 1980. I was sitting with him on an airplane, and he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you. Man. You don't know. That would not be my first choice.
Would not be my first choice. Okay, listen, you sick... I can't do it. I promised that I was going to keep control of my mouth tonight. I am going to honor that. What a piece of trash. I mean, here we have... Damage control. I mean, seriously. This is listen, I'm so disgusted by the fact that that this stuff is happening. That lamestream news thinks that we need to focus on who he may or may not have sat next to and touched on an airplane back in the 80s. There are real issues that need to be discussed, but Hillary Clinton is slicker than an oil slick in the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing sticks to that woman. And Teflon Don, nothing sticks to him either. That is one of the most ignoramus comebacks. By saying, seriously, look at her, I guess that's the end of the show. Anyway, I have to set a timer for myself so I know when I can and can't. I'll explain in the after the show. Seriously, that guy is completely batcrap crazy with some of the stuff he says. That's just one. Only one. Okay? And with that, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week. And God willing, the Stafford Voice will be back next week. You can follow me over on the Twitters at Stafford Voice. You can look me up on the Facebooks by looking for the Stafford Voice. Please, I think we're only one like away from hitting 300 over there. I would greatly appreciate it if you could share it with your friends and family. Wink, wink. Or you can email any of your questions, comments, or concerns to me over the staffordvoice@gmail.com. And I personally answer every shout out and every email by myself. I don't have a staff. I don't have anybody answering for me. When you see a response from me, know that it comes from me and me only. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time. And until next week, thanks and God bless. Hang out for just a second, people. I know you're dying to get into get rid of some of these show graphics. So you got something better to look at. Okay, I think... Yep. Okay, we're done over on the show. Let's get on with the after the show. Okay, so that crazy beeping you heard, that was my warning that I'm getting ready to go over my time limit, because I stink at watching the little tiny clock over there that says how long I've been on. But because this show gets picked up by our friends over at Red Nation Rising, we're only allotted roughly 54 minutes, because yes, there are some ads that keep the station going over there that they play prior to and just right after the shows. So because of that, we honor their request to keep it below 55 minutes. So what you're about to get is a bonus. This is the after the show. And we didn't get to cover this on the show, but I found this completely fascinating. Before I get into it, I got nothing here, nothing at all. Donald Trump puts out fire by dousing it with more fire. I completely agree, Army John. Let's see. Everything sticks to Hillary Clinton. It's just that stuff gets assassinated before. That's true. And if you guys didn't know, if you watched the debate on Sunday night, the second debate, you will have noticed that you will have noted that there was a fly. I'm not going to touch on the fact that what flies fly around and land on all the time. I'm just going to say that there was a fly and it landed on Hillary Clinton a couple of times. I'm a nice guy. I don't want to point out the fact that flies fly around piles of you-know-what. But... supposedly, now this is the reports. They are reporting that the fly was found dead 3 days later of an apparent suicide. I'm just saying that apparently he messed with... even the flies know she's a corpse. I wouldn't necessarily... I think she's alive and well. I think she's just a pile of poop emoji. Anyway... fly mysteriously committed suicide earlier this week. That is completely correct. That fly did. Apparently it messed with the wrong Clinton. Oh, anyway, so let's get on with this after the show thing, because I really wished I could have got this on during the show, but because you guys are sticking around, the fly committed suicide, shooting himself in the back of the head 4 times. Okay, I missed that report, Slick. Wow, that's devastating. I mean, I know he's got the arms to be able to do that. That's. I hope you guys saw where I did there, but because he's got the arms and he shot himself in the back of the head. Anyway. Okay, anyway, let's get on with this one. This one's way too cool to pass up. Apparently, they found what they are claiming to be new hidden rooms in the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this is because of a project called the Scan Pyramids Project. They're saying that their latest find shows that the 4,500-year-old monument has even more mysterious hidden cavities and corridors than their previous work showed. Their first new discovery is a cavity about 105 meters up from the ground. Now, that's roughly 345 feet, if their math is correct. Up from the ground on the northeastern corner of the pyramid. This is followed by another quote-unquote void discovered on the north face of the structure. The project, which was led by the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities Authority, they used infrared thermography, cosmic ray muon detectors, aerial drone photography, and laser scanning to quote-unquote look inside the pyramids in a totally non-invasive way. They go on to report that the exact size and shape of these new rooms are not yet known by engineers, but they are conducting further scans to get a clearer view. This will hopefully shed some light onto the function or purpose of the cavities. The Zahi Hawass, the former Egyptian Minister of State for Antiquities Affairs and director of the Giza Pyramids of Excavation, was interviewed, and he said, "These people are scientists and do not have an archaeological background. The core of the pyramid was built using long stones and small stones. If you know that, you'll find anomalies everywhere." Anyway, regardless, plays X-Files music behind Daniel's voice. Yeah, I can't do that on the show because the YouTubes doesn't like that when we do that. So I have to come over here to get the good stuff. Sorry, Jess, but yes, sometimes. Listen, this after the show thing, I'm really enjoying. The where are we at? The show graphics go away. We cut out all that crap that makes us look professional. Now you're starting to see that my sinuses are catching up to me. Anyway, I found that completely fascinating. That there are still things out there that are right in front of us that we don't completely know the entire story behind. And that's that's one of the reasons why I'm working on a couple of projects, both of which I think my buddy at Protopotamus is going to be helping me with a super top secret mission. With one of those projects is scheduled for this weekend, so make sure you are subscribed here on the YouTubes. I'll try and give you some teaser stuff over on the Instagrams and the Facebooks. With a little behind the scenes type stuff as we work on this project, but I'm super, super excited. This what we're going to be looking at is virtually right in my backyard, and I am so excited that the guy that owns this enormous property has opened the gates and is willing to let us come in and take a look and to tell the story of what is happening and what has happened since basically since the start since World War II time period. So believe it or not, this thing has been there that long. Super, super excited to put this little micro documentary thing together. Just added you, but I'm not on here often. Well, the great thing about this, Jess, is when you subscribe, make sure you, I think somewhere there's a button where you can get an alert anytime we upload or we go live. So it'll remind you to come and watch, because that's the fun stuff. That is the stuff that really gives you a better idea of who I am as a show host, and my wife is a part of the vlogs. I want to be completely open, and unlike a lot of other shows that you'll hear either on the radio or you turn on to the TV and watch. Hopefully, you guys like the Teenage Mutant Ninja. Yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My favorite was Michelangelo, because I was super into art as a kid, and I loved Michelangelo. He was my favorite, not because he was the funny, goofy, crazy one, but because I liked the art guy. I have that same shirt. Yes, I know, Proto, whatever, rub it in. But anyway, we apparently get over here. What? Yeah, I'm trying to get my wife to come on and say hi to you guys, because she's been sitting back there in the background. There she is. Oh, isn't she beautiful? She said that Protopotamus and I need to wear our Ninja Turtle shirts the same day so we can be twinsies. How awesome would that be? Do you want an extra hour for next week? I can arrange it at least on the radio side. No, I really like the 1 hour. I really like the 1 hour format. She's watching the chat. She normally doesn't get to see a lot of that stuff because she tries to well, put your glasses on.
They are.
God. Okay, so we're super excited because Friday, I think we're gonna vlog what we do on Friday. None of our plans are concrete as of yet.
I hope we get.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things we want to do is go to our local cider mill. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. It's Lewisburg Apple Cider Mill. You may have seen their products in your local grocery store, but we're gonna head out there and and take a look at their operation. That's just one thing. Probably go off the diet and have an apple cider donut and maybe a cup of apple cider, depending on the temperature. If it's too warm out, I'm not going to.
The 60s.
Okay, then it'll probably be
sunny.
Sunscreen.
Yes,
Sunscreen matters. Obviously, if you guys have followed the vlog, you know that we are very, very intimate that sunscreen matters. Hashtag sunscreen matters.
The cat.
Yeah, apparently the cat went bat crap crazy. She's been having, I don't know what her deal is.
She's playing the cat.
Anyway, so we're going to pack Friday full of stuff. It's not your turn. You have all day to put a show together and you don't. You sleep. Go away, you disgust me.
No.
I'm kidding. I love our cat. I'd love to be more open on air, but I have security risks. Yeah, yes, Jess, I totally get, I totally understand where you're coming from, and you do need to be careful about that. Sweet, a road trip. Yeah, a cat needs a segment on the show.
Has the personality for it.
I tell you what, this is something that we've talked about, involving getting more footage of the cat. We need to try and find a harness for our.
What?
Yeah, we got to find a harness to strap the GoPro on the cat. So I have a host kitty. Okay, now she has to check out the vlog. Oh, you're gonna. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the Cold War kitty. Oh yes.
She can be.
I'm not gonna strap bombs to her. Putin would. Anyway, so we're gonna pack Friday full of stuff. Put the vlog out. Hopefully it drops. Hopefully that drops Saturday while we're out conducting our super uber secret top secret mission. Out with researching and working on this micro documentary that is in the works. Unfortunately, my buddy Protopotamus won't be able to join me there. PetSmart has harnesses for cats. Awesome. We'll have to go check it out. Write that down. So where was I? Okay. So we're gonna. I will try and vlog as much of that as possible for you guys to share some of the behind the scenes stuff and anything else that we can put into the day. But Saturday's going to be a boring day. If we vlog at all, it'll just be behind the scenes stuff. And then I've got a friend from church coming over who is into CrossFit. He just recently got certified to teach some CrossFit stuff, do some footage, and make a vid like Hitler clips. Oh, geez. Toons is the M1A1 tank driving cat. Oh, man, we need to find a costume for the cat.
I
know,
little costumes,
but
no.
they want to see a tank cat. Your cats are toilet trained.
Ours is not.
Ours is not. Ours is not. If you have tips on that, I would love to have them. She
might be too late. She's pretty old.
She is old. She's like 17 years old. So it may. Right. Yeah. I got what you're saying in the toilet, not the litter box. Ours is litter box trained, but not toilet trained. We call it the crapper. And I announce to her every time we go down and clean it that the crapper is clean and the crapper is not full. Anyway, so listen, we love spending this time with you guys. I'm not a big P90X fan. It's too many pull-ups and push-ups. I get bored. I need some weight on my back. Matter of fact, let me go back to something I talked about in the show. I'm scatterbrained right now as things are starting to catch up. Okay, so I have videos on my YouTube to prove it. Oh, good heavens!
Can you imagine Mini Kitty?
I'm not gonna video the cat.
Put the GoPro on her.
No, I'm not putting a GoPro on the cat while she takes a dump. Okay, we could put it in super slow-mo. Anyway. They don't want to watch that. Okay, so earlier I worked out before the show. It was a squat session. My state record way back when I was competing was in the low 300s. I'm not proud of it. It was 314, 314 and a half or something like that. But I was a light. Okay, you're distracting me. The Army John Bionic Cat Crab. Yes, I would love to face palm right now. That was
funny.
Oh my word. Oh, I need to turn the fan on because it's getting hot in here. Oh, anyway, where did Slick go? Did he fall asleep? Tina, did Slick fall asleep? Let me know. We need to wake that guy up. Or is he over there? Is he over there putting stuff together? Philip even plays in water. Don't ask a cat that likes water. Ours does not like water. Well, there is something we could share on Twitter. Anne's cat video. Yes, we could. We need to put a link to. Anne, do me a favor. Link to one of your cat videos so I can easily find it. There he is. Yeah, I know. I see him. Okay, so I squatted. I took 365 for a double after I had done 365 for a couple of singles. I'm getting my groove back. Yeah, I see. I'm not in the. I don't have the other chat room up, but I see that he is in here. Anyway. The cat's late for bed. Her bedtime is...
she's probably feeling neglected.
Her bedtime is about an hour ago. She's feeling neglected based off the tone of her meows right now. She's feeling neglected.
Mad.
She's mad, but she's acting really lonely and pathetic.
She has issues.
This is the stuff we gotta save for the vlog. Okay, so... We're saving a lot of that stuff for the vlog. Coming out later this week. Sorry that we've gone 2 weeks without putting a vlog out. As you guys know, 2 weeks ago, had a little bit of depression. Last thing I wanted to do was put anything out about that. And I realized that I need to be open with that about that stuff with you guys. What am I dressing up for Halloween? Army John... I can't tell you, it's super top secret, but I want to remind you guys, if you're still... We'll make Anne's cat. We're making cats great again.
There you go.
We are making cats great again. Okay. With the Halloween... Am I dressing up for Halloween? Let me just put it this way. I teased about it on the show earlier. In 2 weeks... from tonight is Halloween, but the show will be taken over by a larger-than-life... oh, that's disgusting. Slick's working on his Nancy Pelosi costume. That's creepier than some of these clowns that I'm seeing pop up.
Clowns are scary.
Clowns are scary, but not
scary.
as scary as Nancy Pelosi. I'm gonna go out on that freak. That's all I'm saying. But okay, going back, the show this is the biggest guest that I've ever booked for the show, larger than life. It's going to be huge. Okay, that's all I can say right now. He has personally asked that I keep a lot of things under wraps. That will scare the cat crap out of everyone. That's true, and I don't even know if I've got any cat crap in me. Oh, I'm really enjoying this after the show stuff, you guys. But it's getting late. We've got to go get some beauty rest. My wife doesn't need any. She's phenomenal the way she is already. But I've got to go. I got to wrap some stuff up and put this stream to bed for the night so it processes. So, yes, again, guys, thank you so much for sticking around with us. I know that there are a lot of things you guys would probably rather be doing or watching, but you feel I'm getting my aliens guy thing. You know, the alien, you know what I'm talking about? The guy on the History Channel or whatever, and aliens, that guy.
What is that show? I don't know what it is.
I'll show you. The guy's weird. He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But look, I want you guys to know how much you guys mean to us. Clowns are not scary. Not when you got 13 45. That is so true.
That would probably make it better.
It would. But listen, from the bottom of both of our hearts, and I think I can speak for my wife when I say this, we absolutely love you guys and love that you are willing to share your time with us. Tina, thanks for sticking around and watching the show. Army John, thanks for being in both chat rooms, keeping me updated. Slick with Rebel Road Tactical. Please, guys, if you've made it this far and you need a holster for your sidearm, look him up, rebelroadtactical.com, or you can follow him over on the Twitters. He'll get you set up. Realians? Yeah. Okay. I hope I didn't miss anybody. And thanks for all of your support over here on the YouTubes. I know that you were trying to pull double duty over on the radio side chat as well. Thank you so much. But really, I hope you guys understand what we're doing with this show. And that is, we're trying to create an atmosphere that you feel like you're a part of it. That you guys not only influence me with some of the things you're talking about, but the issues I see you guys talk about day in and day out are the very things that we talk about here on the show, and we break them down at a different level. But I want you to feel like you're sitting at our couch, or you're sitting at the kitchen table, and we're just talking like friends and family, or around a campfire. As much as I would love to sit down and meet each one of you in person, one of these days I will be able to. I'll make it to each one of you, meet you in person. We'll have a meet and greet type thing, and I want to be completely accessible, unlike a lot of other show hosts. I personally feel like a lot of show hosts shut themselves off, and you don't really get to know them and who they are and what they're about. But with this show, we've been able to open ourselves up in a way that I think you guys are enjoying so far. If there trust me, and if there was a way that we could take this show out around a campfire, it would be beyond fantastic. If you need a holster, tell me you heard about RRT on this show. Oh, and you get 10% off. Slick, can I use that? Can I promo it that way? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know. But because we're getting ready to sign this off here. So again, I want you guys to know how much you mean to me. I love you guys. You guys are more than friends. You guys are family. From the bottom of my heart, my wife's heart, thank you so much, and God bless.